The city woke beneath a bright blue morning sky as flashing cameras crowded the entrance of the most expensive children's hospital in the country. News reporters whispered that every medical expert had already accepted the heartbreaking truth. The only son of billionaire Adrian Holloway was running out of time, and the world's greatest doctors had quietly admitted they had nothing left to offer. Hope had become a luxury that even limitless money could not buy. But just a few streets away, unnoticed by everyone, a homeless boy carrying nothing but a worn backpack and an unshakable heart was about to change a destiny that science believed was already written. Before this unforgettable journey begins, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone who believes in kindness and second chances, and subscribe to Epic Aura for more emotional stories that remind us hope can appear from the most unexpected places. Adrian Holloway had spent his entire life building one of the largest technology empires in the world. His skyscrapers reached the clouds, his private jets crossed continents every week, and newspapers described him as a man who could solve any problem with enough determination and wealth. Yet every morning he walked into the bright hospital room where his 10-year-old son, Rowan, lay connected to silent machines that measured every heartbeat. The cheerful boy who once loved running through parks, chasing butterflies, and drawing colorful worlds had become weak after developing an extremely rare illness that slowly attacked his nervous system. Specialists arrived from different countries. Experimental treatments were approved. Endless meetings filled with hope turned into quiet conversations filled with sadness. One by one, every expert admitted they had reached the end of medical possibilities. Outside the hospital, life continued beneath the warm sunshine. Office workers hurried toward meetings. Children laughed while carrying backpacks to school. Street musicians played cheerful songs in crowded squares. Sitting quietly beside a small public fountain was a 14-year-old homeless boy named Corin. His clothes were old but carefully washed whenever he found a public restroom. Every afternoon he collected discarded plastic bottles and helped elderly shopkeepers carry groceries in exchange for small meals. Most people walked past without noticing him, believing he was simply another forgotten child. Yet hidden inside his worn backpack were several carefully protected notebooks filled with handwritten observations about plants, animals, first aid, and traditional healing methods his late grandmother had patiently taught him during the few happy years they shared before illness and poverty separated them forever. Corin never believed old knowledge could replace modern medicine. His grandmother had always reminded him that real healing came from compassion working together with science. She had volunteered beside doctors in a remote village where expensive equipment never existed, teaching frightened families simple ways to comfort patients while waiting for professional treatment. Those lessons stayed alive inside Corin long after she was gone. One sunny afternoon, Corin noticed unusual activity near the hospital entrance. Reporters looked defeated instead of excited. Nurses carried tired expressions that words could not hide. Curious, Corin quietly listened as someone mentioned that the billionaire's son no longer responded to treatment. Something deep inside him remembered one page from his grandmother's notebooks describing a rare natural extract once studied for supporting damaged nerve cells before modern research abandoned it due to lack of funding rather than failure. Corin knew it was not a miracle cure, but he believed the forgotten research deserved another chance. Most security guards ignored him immediately. A homeless child talking about medical research sounded ridiculous. But one exhausted young nurse noticed the sincerity in his eyes. Instead of laughing, she accepted the fragile notebook and quietly passed it to one of the hospital researchers simply because she felt she had nothing left to lose. Hours later, something unexpected happened. The researcher returned carrying the notebook with trembling hands. Buried inside Corin's grandmother's handwritten notes were references to an old university study that matched several recent discoveries about Rowan's rare condition. The forgotten research had never been fully explored because funding disappeared decades earlier. Suddenly, specialists who had already accepted defeat reopened medical journals, contacted international laboratories, and compared every detail with Rowan's latest test results. Days passed beneath bright summer skies as doctors worked with renewed determination. They carefully developed a treatment plan inspired by the rediscovered research while following strict medical safety standards. Adrian watched with cautious hope, afraid to believe again after so many disappointments. Corin remained outside the hospital each day, never asking for money, recognition, or even permission to enter. He simply waited, praying silently that his grandmother's kindness might somehow continue helping others. Then, one peaceful morning, Rowan squeezed his father's hand for the first time in weeks. Nurses froze in disbelief. Doctors immediately repeated examinations. Small improvements appeared throughout the day. The treatment was not magic, and recovery remained slow, but the terrifying decline had finally stopped. Every sunrise afterward brought another tiny victory. Rowan smiled again. He asked for colored pencils. He laughed at a bird resting outside his hospital window. Hope, once declared impossible, slowly filled every hallway. News spread quickly, but the headline surprised everyone. The greatest discovery was not about a miracle medicine. It was about humility. The doctors openly admitted they succeeded because they remained willing to learn from an unexpected source. Adrian publicly thanked every physician for refusing to let pride stand above possibility. When reporters asked about the mysterious homeless boy, Corin tried to disappear quietly into the crowd. Instead, Adrian found him sitting beneath the same fountain where their stories had unknowingly crossed. The billionaire did not offer a reward first. He simply sat beside the boy and listened. For the first time in years, someone asked Corin about his dreams instead of his struggles. Corin confessed he wanted nothing more than to study medicine so children without families or money would never feel invisible again. Adrian established a scholarship in Corin's grandmother's name, providing education, housing, and every opportunity the boy had never imagined possible. More importantly, he funded research into overlooked medical studies, believing that valuable ideas should never disappear simply because they come from forgotten places or ordinary people. Years later, Rowan fully recovered and often volunteered beside Corin at children's hospitals. Together they reminded frightened families that hope sometimes arrives wearing worn shoes instead of expensive suits. Doctors, nurses, volunteers, and patients learned that compassion and curiosity could accomplish extraordinary things when joined together. If this story has touched your heart, please write "Kindness Changes Lives" in the comments below. As this story comes to an end, if it inspired you, please like this video, share it with your friends and family, leave your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to Epicora so together we can continue spreading hope, compassion, and unforgettable stories that remind the world no act of kindness is ever too small. The greatest miracle was never that a homeless boy helped save a billionaire's son. The greatest miracle was that one person refused to believe someone without wealth, status, or power had nothing valuable to offer. Sometimes the future changes forever because one forgotten heart chooses compassion instead of giving up, proving that hope can be found in the brightest daylight and in the most unexpected hands.